William Patterson University Television.
Well, welcome back to this. We are in the end game here. In pro football, we are in the end game. We got 4 teams left, and joining us today on the desk, we have Joe, Jimmy, and Nijee. Joe, let's start off with you. NFC title game. We have the guy who they call the GOAT, Tom Brady. A lot of analytic people's GOAT in Aaron Rodgers. What do you see from this game? Because I think it's going to be a classic one. This is going to be one hell of a game.
What I see from the game, watching last weekend, each team looked beatable. All of the the other 3 teams looked beatable. The Green Bay Packers against the number 1 ranked defense did not look beatable. They looked absolutely unstoppable. Tom Brady really did not play that well. The wide receivers, these big name wide receivers plus Gronk, were shut down completely. It seemed like the Saints gave the Packers the blueprint of how to defend these guys and really hold back Godwin, Evans, Gronk, and AB, because they were all each held to, I believe, 7 catches among the 4 of them. So if the Packers just follow the blueprint of the Saints and Aaron Rodgers torches that young secondary like we know he can, enjoy it, Lambeau. Getting the win.
You said me?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like this game gonna be predicated strictly on can the Buccaneers defense hold or slow down Aaron Rodgers and his weapons. Like, can they keep it under 20? Because we see them back in week did they play, like week 3 or week? But I think week 7 when they only scored 10 points. I feel like if that defense could keep it between 10 and 20, I feel like Tom Brady could somehow squeak out. I'm a big Tom Brady fan. I can see him kind of squeaking out behind Aaron Rodgers.
But look, it's going to be a matchup of LaFleur's game plan versus what Todd Bowles is doing. Because Todd Bowles, they pressured Aaron Rodgers, I think, 50% of the snap. So every other snap, there was pressure. So, Jimmy, do you think that Nijee just made the point they played week 7. Do you think that the Packers can make enough adjustments to pull out the victory this time? Because when they last played, it didn't look well. It did not look well.
It did not look pretty. Aaron Rodgers threw, I believe, 2 pick sixes. I believe it was absolutely atrocious to watch. But that was in Tampa Bay. This one is in Green Bay. Well, Tom Brady does obviously have a lot of experience playing in the cold with New England. I think Green Bay gets it done. Aaron Rodgers is going to adjust to the blitz packages that Todd Bowles is going to bring. I don't think it's going to be the same game. It's going to be a lot closer regardless. I think the key, Joe alluded to Brady not playing that week, not well last week. He didn't have to. The Saints turned the ball over constantly. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. You're exactly. Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette actually ran the ball well. Bruce Arians called run plays. If the Bucs run the ball well and they take care of the ball, which Brady is usually accustomed to doing, as far as taking care of the ball, the Bucs will have a chance. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a revenge game. This is his year. This is his MVP season. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
My question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Rodgers is not throwing 3 picks. Devontae Adams is not getting held to 0 catches. It's not going
to will not happen.
It will not happen.
And look, they gave us the matchup with Jalen Ramsey last week, and look what happened. Alan Lazard was the X factor. He had over 100 yards, or he had close to 100 yards. Devontae only had 66 yards, but he still caught a touchdown. That made Jalen Ramsey upset, which made me happy because we understand reasons why. But if we switch from the NFC to the AFC, we go from I don't want to call it the History Channel because Aaron Rodgers is still kind of a young man, but we got the young guns. We got Patrick Mahomes, hopefully Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen set the face off. Jimmy, let's just say Mahomes is playing. Who do you give the edge this matchup?
If Mahomes is playing and he's 80%, you just have to go with the Chiefs, especially due to the fact that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is supposed to play. The Chiefs have something that the Bills absolutely do not. The Chiefs have the ability to run the football. And in the postseason, that's such a big deal. Josh Allen, if he were able to get this done, this would put him in the class with the Deshaun Watsons and Lamars as well. I think that doesn't get talked about enough if he wins this game. But I think the Chiefs, if Mahomes plays and he's anywhere near himself, I think it's just going to be too much. But we'll see what happens.
Nijee?
I'm about to get my table. Bills Mafia over here. I feel like Josh Allen with last season, Josh Allen was he was like a decent QB until he got Stephon Diggs, missed a one-on-one. I feel like the Chiefs gonna have to I feel like the Chiefs going to have to stop Stephon Diggs and stop the other Davis, Breesley, everybody on the other side. But other than that, I feel like that offense on the Bill side could overpower the Chiefs defense in the long run and keep that offense.
Yep.
The only team to really beat the Chiefs this year was the Raiders, and they did it through air raid, receivers on the outside pushing it down the field. And that happens to be the Bills' sweet spot. This team is built to win a shootout. And to beat the Chiefs, you have to win a shootout. The Chiefs are going to try to run the ball. The Chiefs are really going to try to pound it. And I don't know if they're going to have that level of success against the Bills because that is their weakness. But you run the clock down. You let Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs score quickly. The Bills are going to win.
Look, hey, it's very possible. That's why I like football so much. It's win or go home, especially now when these times it makes it so tense. But just look out for Josh Allen to make sure, like third, fourth quarter, look out for him. Make sure he doesn't do anything too reckless with the football because he's done that multiple times already. 3 times in his 3 playoff games, he's done it 3 times. But so we'll just have to see about that. Staying in the AFC, the Houston Texans went 4-12 this year, but Deshaun Watson had the most yards in the NFL. He threw under 10 interceptions, more than 35 touchdowns. They basically don't give him anything. They trade away his best receiver for scraps. He had no input on the coach, the GM. Nijee, where would you like to see Deshaun Watson? Because I don't think he's going to play another game as a Texan.
Yeah, of course, but his contract coming up. Now, his contract right now coming up is going to be a little tricky for teams that want him. But I feel like Miami I feel like Miami is one of the top 3 teams that in my eyes that can somehow get him and trade a lot of assets for him. Because Houston Texans don't have no picks in the first round. So I feel like any team in the top 5 could trade for him. But they need to trade that number 1 pick and maybe another 2 picks just to get Deshaun Watson from Houston.
It's going to be a lot because he's a franchise quarterback. Let's put our cards on the table. He is a franchise quarterback. Jimmy, there's a few teams that do need a franchise quarterback. Where would you like to see Deshaun Watson?
I'd like to see him with the Chicago Bears. They haven't had a Pro Bowl quarterback since Jim McMahon. I think Bears fans are tired of seeing Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, Jay Cutler, Rex Grossman. I can go on and on. They're just wasting a championship defense. Matt Nagy is supposed to be an offensive genius as far as play calling. I think that would be a match made in heaven. I think that would bring winning football to Chicago finally.
Yo.
With Deshaun Watson having the no trade clause, if I am Houston, let's think about a team that's ready-made for a Super Bowl in a different conference that could offer a quarterback who their new GM knows very well. The San Francisco 49ers make a trade for Deshaun Watson. They are instantly my favorite in the NFC for next year. And they have not just the draft capital, because they're fine giving up a first. They have players. They can give you back ready-made players right now up and down that roster. They are so deep. I'm looking at Fred Warner as a potential one. Jimmy Garoppolo in a first could very well get it done.
Hey, look, if you look at somebody like Matt LaFleur, who comes from the Shanahan system, having quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers, look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing in the system. So just what do you think Deshaun Watson would do? That would be interesting to see him on the 49ers because I think they would be a Super Bowl caliber team as well. A lot of coaches have gotten fired, so that means there's been a lot of openings. A lot of coaches have also gotten hired. Jimmy, we'll start with you. What do you think is the best hire out of the recent coaching hirees?
I'm gonna take it with the Jets. I think this is the culture change that they absolutely need. Robert Saleh is just gonna totally change the locker room. A lot of people might criticize not bringing in an offensive coach to help develop Sam Darnold, but in my opinion, that ship has sailed. You tried that with Adam Gase. Now look what happened. Robert Saleh is going to be that culture shift. We saw Richard Sherman put out the tweet saying the Jets got a good one, and everyone seems to have relations with Robert Saleh, just raves and raves and raves about him. He's going to bring that energy, the Jets defense, bring it back to the Rex Ryan days where they actually got to an AFC championship with good defense. And that's another team that could get Deshaun Watson too. Do I think it'll happen? No, because they're the Jets. But that's another team that it could happen. I like the Robert Saleh hire.
Najee?
Yeah, have you seen Dan Campbell press conference yesterday? All the other, oh, that's my coach right there. I love that man. So I feel like Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions is the best option on throughout the whole offseason because
Wow.
he not an X and O coach, but he a motivator that this team needed for years. If you've been with Detroit Lions or watching this team like I did, Matt Patricia, he didn't like talking to the media. He wasn't a player coach. He was just like, just do it how I do it, just write down and do it how I write it. And that's in the NFL, you gotta be a people person in the NFL as a coach. You gotta understand your players now. So I feel like Dan Campbell, he say buying people kneecaps. I don't know. I play football in 3 years, but I might have to.
Hey, Dan Campbell's an interesting guy. I'll say that. He's a very interesting guy. Mr. Paolantonio, close us out. Who do you have?
The last time the Atlanta Falcons were successful, not head coach, but coordinator Kyle Shanahan implemented a power run scheme with very complex personnels that really complemented the passing game. The current head coach now, Arthur Smith, has ran that system in Tennessee, and I think that the Falcons have finally realized that you're playing in that stadium in that division. Maybe you should focus on the offensive side of the ball. I like this. It's a complete 180 from Dan Quinn. I think this is going to be very successful.
One thing or two things I will say. I like Raheem Morris going to the Rams as defensive coordinator. I think that's a very nice hire. And no Eric Bieniemy. That's so shocking. That's still so
Terrible.
Houston.
Hey, that's the only place with a coaching spot left. So it can happen. But I think Bieniemy stays.
I wouldn't touch that Texans job with a 10-foot pole if I was him. You wait till next year, he'll get the line up at his door again.
Andy Reid may be going to the sunset soon, so he already has a ready job if he stays where he's at. But
Brian Dable in Buffalo too.
Yeah, him as well. But that's all we have for this week on WP Sports Desk. Join us next week on the desk, and don't forget to follow us at Sports Desk WP on Instagram and Twitter for studio updates and more. Thank you to all the cast and crew. Thank you guys. You guys are making a great effort. It's put a smile on my face that we get to do this every Friday still. What's going on in the world, but very thankful for you guys. And I'm also very thankful for our studio manager, Clarke. But for everyone at the desk, I'm Samory Rose, and we see you guys next week.